non-commissioned review of the Sheglam Flutter Effect palette.
Hello puddings from the lovely Daisy. Now then, today I've been messing with hair wax, but also I got this lovely palette from SHEIN. It's the Sheglam brand, which I think is their own brand, to try out. When you look at it, it looks very similar to things like brands like Colourpop. So let's get into what I did today with this lovely palette. First of all, look at those shades. They are absolutely gorgeous, and it was you know, definitely me when I saw the colours in this particular palette, because I love these violety blues. I love the teals. I love these shimmers here, all of it, every shade on there. I love it, even down to this nice dark shade. And dark shades are always fabulous for if you want to put a bit of definition in the corners and things like that. Great. And for like powder eyeliner, perfect. Okay, so for today's look, I started with some of the matte shades that are in the palette. Now this palette has I would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 matte shades, and the rest of it are shimmers. Some are a dual tone, so if you look at this one here, that's like a dual tone brown and turquoise. This one's like a dual tone lime green and goldy, sort of bronzy colour. And this one here, which is one of the ones that I've used, is like a dual tone purple and blues, and it goes on really well. So what I started with though was one of the mattes, because you always need to start with nice matte shades, because they're going to bring out these shimmers when you do use them. I never used to bother with matte shades on eyeshadows, and I used to think, what's the point of them? I like the shiny stuff. Without those mattes, that shiny stuff doesn't pop the way that you want it to. So started with this pale lilac-y colour here, and I did that in my midsection, and then a bit of shaping with the darker lilac in the corner there, and used that. Next thing I did was I went straight for this one. It is absolutely lush, and I put that on my, in fact I'll take my glasses off so you can get a better idea. I put that on my lids 2/3 of the way over, and also down here, because I love my shadows in that corner there to make the sides of my eyes pop. And that's because when you have hooded eyes, you don't get as much of the lid showing, so I always like to put my colours in there, because that's going to show and it makes it look nice, like a nice pop in that inner corner. So yeah, I dived into this one here, and I think that out of the whole palette, maybe that one and that one are my favourite shades. So then I went on my under eye. So let's lean down a little bit so you can see what I've done there, going a little bit. There you go. So what I did was I used a gel pencil, just a one that came in a set. It was from Amazon. It says Davis on it, but I'm pretty sure that on the box it had something completely different. But it's just a waterproof bog standard gel eyeliner. So I used that first, almost like a base, and then I used this shade here, which is like the shimmery lilac purpley bluey duotone one, and I used that on my under eye by packing it on top of that waterproof gel liner. I think if I'd used that on its own, either by mixing it with water or whatever, or just putting it on neat, I don't think it would last very long, or you wouldn't be able to get the same intensity. So I recommend using something that at least you can grit that powder onto. So I used that one, and then I used my fingers. I used my fingers for most of it actually, because I've got wrinkly skin, and yeah, I find that works better for me. I can pack the colour on where I want it to be. But in particular, with this particular brand, which I would say is in the lower price point, I didn't say cheap, It's a lower price point brand. You need to either pack it on a lot, you know, go over it a lot of times, or you need a very, very good primer, because on its own, it's not going to stick around very long. It's not got that staying power. It's not quite got that creamy formula that you might get with more expensive eyeshadows. Anyway, sorry about wandering thoughts. This one I used by wetting my finger and really getting lots of colour on, and that's going in the corner there, as well as on my under eye, and just a little bit further up as well. So, and then I blended it out. What I would say with this particular eyeshadow palette is that it needs those similar shades to be able to make an eye look like this. There are some brands of eyeshadow that you can use. You could put on one shade and be able to sort of pack it on and get a dark effect in the corners, and blend it out with your fingers and get that ombre effect elsewhere, because if it's got a good enough formula, you can do that blending with only just one eyeshadow shade. In this case, no, you need I needed both the paler lilac and the darker purple to be able to get this ombre, and neither of them particularly blend out. They just are what they are, and I needed to pack them on. I found that I did try a little bit with brush, and as soon as I started going at it with a brush to do blending, it was disappearing. The brush was just rubbing it off. So your best bet is to pack it on and use both the shades, and make sure you've got a good primer to get an eyeshadow look like this. But it's actually stayed. It's about I would say at least an hour since I did this. So yeah. What else can I say? £6 this cost me, £6. So if you think about brands like Colourpop, yes, and Anastasia Beverly Hills, Juvia's Place, just thinking of ones that I really like the formula of. Yes, I do like the formula of those brands better than this, but you can get this for the price of less than a single of those other brands. So at the end of the day, this is brilliant value, so long as you know its limitations and you know the best ways to get around it. So would I recommend it? Yeah, I would actually. Especially this particular one. It's got the most gorgeous shades. I blooming love it. I think I'm going to be reaching this quite often. So yes, I would recommend it. They're from SHEIN. The only thing I would say about SHEIN is, oh my god, it's like a crack den for shopaholics. So just be careful if you're a bit of a shopaholic going on SHEIN, because that is some lethal stuff that they've got on there, especially at the price point that they're dealing with. Like I say, £6 for this. All right then, I'll be looking for more from SHEIN and more of the Sheglam to see if this was a one-off and it happened to be some nice shades and they all worked, and there might be other palettes that are not as nice. So I will be testing a few more out, but for now, for my first try of Sheglam eyeshadow palettes from SHEIN, they get a big thumbs up. Yeah, they're well worth it for £6. Yeah, definitely. And this particular one with the gorgeous shades, I am not sure whether it's called Wild Heart or whether it's called Flutter Effect, but you'll know which one it is when you go on there, because you'll know from the shades. Definitely recommended. I'll catch you next time, puddings. Bye.